I'd like to welcome everyone to our first Celebrating Women event hosted by Valour. My name is Tseho Sibukhudi, and I am so glad to see everyone. I'd like to begin by, thanking everyone for joining us today, this Saturday morning. I know you could be doing something else, but you're here with us and we appreciate you. I'd like to welcome our guests. I'd like to welcome our patrons who are here. I'd like to welcome our Value Edians, and I'd also love to welcome our Value Ed ambassadors who've joined the call as well. And I see Kwenga's here, Nantlanto's also here. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for joining us this Saturday morning. It's been a very good week, and I hope it's been good for you guys as well. And I think I want to start giving, Refilwe, our host with the most, the chance to do her thing. And we are so glad to have you guys. Welcome, Refilwe. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Tseho. And good morning to all our wonderful Value Add family. It is the first of the year, so I'm really looking forward to the rest of the year and all the guests that we'll have. I'm actually very surprised that we haven't had our guest today on Celebrating Women, which we've been doing for now over a year. We started in August of 2020. And as I don't know if you guys know this, but Kopano, Moshoana, who's our guest today, was our very, very first patron. So I think it's very fitting that, we have her at this point in Celebrating Women. Yeah. So we have to celebrate that. I think, as the first, you always set the pace and, you're a leader. So I think all the other patrons that we've had, we can really thank Kopano for setting the ground running and all of that. So I know everybody has seen the post in terms of who our guest is, but just as an introduction, Kopano is a digital marketing guru. I know that, here at Value, I'm the personal branding guru, but she is the digital marketing guru and also the founder of KPRM Media Solutions. So very, very excited to hear all about her entrepreneurship journey, which is something that, we're always talking about and advocating for at Value. But more importantly, I think because, the Value family is such a youthful family, made up of young people, to also have Kopano come and share her story as a young person as well will be very, very inspiring. So just to start us off, I always say, nobody tells their story better than them. So Kopano, please come through and just tell us who Kopano is, and maybe a little bit about, what you do in your business and how you came about, doing digital marketing as well.
All right. Thank you so much for such a warm welcome. I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much for everyone that has joined. I welcome you and I'm very excited to be here. So as Refilwe had mentioned, my name is Kopano Moshoana, and I am the founder of actually 2 digital companies. So I'd refer myself as a digital entrepreneur. So my first baby is KPRM Media Solutions. Used to be marketing, but now we've moved and expanded into media. So we are growing and I'm really grateful for that. And basically that company basically supplies, digital presence, expanding footprint online for small, medium enterprises as well as corporates. And, we basically utilize different digital tools such as social media, PR, branding. These are some of the products that we've just expanded in the new year as well. So that's just a bit of a brief information on my first business. The second is Sorted. So Sorted is a virtual assistance company. What this is, in a traditional brick and mortar business, you always have the personal assistant that is, taking calls, receiving calls on the senior people's end and taking care of ad hoc duties, etc. So we do all of that, but virtually. So I saw the gap because of, the whole COVID-19 situation and just the acceleration of technology. And then I thought, this could be a great way to actually start servicing this need in the market while it's already hot. So I'm glad that I started that. And I started that about 2 years ago. With KPRM, we're turning 5 this year, so it's a very big year for us. And I'm really, really excited to see what God has in store for us. And more than anything, I'm passionate about helping the youth. So being a young person myself, I could definitely say that I'm highly blessed. I'm so glad I just decided to start early. So being invited to such events really is something really important to me. And it's like a personal mission for me to make time and actually tell my story, because even you, as young as you are, can start today and actually, become something big and, achieve your dreams, really align within your purpose and actually truly understand what you're meant to do on this earth. So that's just the professional background, but me as a person, Kopano is very much into spirituality, purpose, alignment, wellness, just being conscious around who you are, what your energy is, and what you actually bring to the world, and how you are basically being received to others, and also through self. So self-discovery, learning to understand self, the good and the bad, and how to actually balance that and actually show up to the world in your own power. So Absolutely. That's just a brief description of who Kopano is.
No, I love it. I love it. And I think, for me personally, I've had the privilege of, just working with you on some projects, but also just having girl conversations, and I think it's, for everybody here to hear your story, it's really inspiring. I mean, I remember our first coffee together and I was just like so inspired, by just your journey and all of that. And, you spoke and you touched, in terms of starting early, right? Which can be a very daunting, thought,
Absolutely.
From university, and you're thinking, what is it that I want to do with the rest of my life, whether it's going through entrepreneurship or even just like looking for a job, where do I look, what company and all of that. Walk us through, you mentioned that, with your first baby, it's turning 5 this year. So you started very, very early, right? So maybe just share, how old you were when you started, and what was the process of actually saying, I'm going to start my own business instead of going to go and look for employment?
Absolutely. So growing up, I always knew that I was going to own a business. I just didn't know what, though. I always knew, I was like, I always told my mom, I want to own something of my own. I don't know what it will be, but I've always seen it in my future. I just didn't expect it this soon. And, when the first moment when KPRM and the business idea actually dawned on me, I was how old was I? I was 20. And, I was just, at that time, because I haven't solidified anything, so I was just thinking around it, like, okay. And I think what brought me to this space was, I remember I was currently in an internship at that time. I was doing my second year, going into my third year, so late around second year. I started thinking, how do I stand out in a pool of candidates that are looking for jobs in marketing? Marketing is an overly saturated industry already. Every second person is doing marketing. So I started to think, how can I be proactive in such a way that I start building a different edge to marketing? And that's when I started realizing, okay, I need to be proactive in terms of researching what's actually happening in the space. And when I did that, that's when I stumbled upon digital marketing. And at that time, it wasn't as big as it is now, or still growing at a local level, of course, but globally it was quite big. They've been doing it since like 2012, 2013. So by the time I stumbled upon that, it was 2016 and late 2016. And I just thought, I actually really like this concept. And being young, I'm already, easily affiliated with tech, how to use it, etc. And when I also realized that you can actually use social media to monetize and actually make money, I found that really interesting. So that changed the game for me. I was just like, okay, so this thing that I'm using for, just recreational purposes is actually being utilized to make money today. It's just so crazy. So at that time, I didn't, how do I say this? I didn't fully understand what I was doing, but I just felt it was right. I said, no, I'm going to start researching on digital marketing, understanding it, etc. That's when I would dedicate my weekends to watching YouTube videos, many YouTube videos, reading articles, downloading ebooks, PDFs, you name it, I was there. Free courses, whether it's a few hours or, I would try and find a way to balance while I was also learning, the normal traditional BCom of my marketing degree, which is also still extremely important in marketing today. So I thought, I already have that edge of where the world is going with tech. I think I'm on the right path. But at that time, it didn't really sink in because I didn't think about it in that way. I just thought, okay, I'm seeing digital marketing. Let me just try it out. Technology's here. Let me give it a try. And so that was back in 2016, and I never looked back. Then I started freelancing for about 8-10 months. And those 8 to 10 months, I did a whole lot of stuff for free. Because in my mind, I was thinking, you know what, I'm building a portfolio here. This is not about money. And also that's when I realized that, okay, the space that I'm in, I'm actually quite passionate about it because I already loved marketing, but now doing it differently and learning how to do it differently was something quite exciting for me at that time. So doing things for free wasn't like really a hindrance at that time. And I was still young, I was still building, and I was trying to get practical experience, especially with digital. It's practical that really sets you up for success. You need to actually know how to do these things practically. So I did a lot of that. And through that journey, I realized, you know what, I actually love this. And then I thought, you know what, I'm going to just start this agency. I didn't know what I was doing. I just thought, you know what, head first, I'm doing it. And 5 years later, here I am. And it's crazy. Sometimes I literally marvel at the story, like, what? I literally just saw this and I'm like, no, I'm doing this. And then that was that. I just went for it.
That's incredible. Hey, that's incredible. I just love the belief in self to say, I'm not sure, but I'm just gonna hit, just do it. And I think that's where a lot of people, get stuck in the just
Absolutely.
starting,
Yeah.
But I just love, yes, it's a very inspiring story to say, yes, I just started, and I just went for it. But how was it, or how did you find your feet, in the space? It is very saturated, and,
Yes.
A lot of people who were more experienced than you and all of that. And one of the things we always speak about it, with celebrating women is finding your voice, right? And amplifying your voice. So in the spaces when you walked in, I mean, do you even recall the first, when you had to go and make a pitch for the first time, how was that? Because I can imagine that being very nerve-wracking, right? As a young person, you're coming in, you have your own little company, and you're probably going and pitching against major agencies as well.
Absolutely.
So how did you go about, what's the process of, just finding your own voice?
I think I really love that question, by the way. I think the process that I was in at that time, and I think I always take it back to upbringing. My mom really affirmed me growing up. She affirmed, she was very supportive of any of my dreams. She said, whatever that you want to do, I'm going to support you and you can actually do it. And I think those affirming words were really, really solidifying my character as I was growing up. And at the end of the day, I mean, even if you're getting affirmations from your parents and etc., if you are privileged enough to actually get that, it's still scary. You're still a human being. You still have to go out there and actually do this thing and be super nervous. And I was super nervous. I wouldn't lie. I remember with my very first pitch, I did everything by the book. I wouldn't even lie. I took all my textbooks, took all of them, and I started like literally doing everything practically. Whatever that was asked in the pitch, I would try and look back and see, okay, how can I take what I'm actually studying in theory and try and, So at that time, I didn't know what I was doing, but I think that passion fueled me and that willingness to be open and that curiosity kept me pushing. But at the end of the day, also, I think I'd like to label myself as a weirdo. Growing up, I was weird. I don't know how to describe it. Like, I was a nice person, like friends with everyone, but I was also an empath. At that time, I didn't know what that was, though, right? And I think being an empath it's quite it's a gift and a curse, really, because you get to then feel people's energies, good and bad, that are around you. But at that time, I think also what comes with being an empath is your awareness of self. Well, how are you feeling at that time? And I think also being an old soul, I'd like to describe myself as that. That also helped a lot. I don't know where I got it, but naturally I am quite an old soul. I've always been self-aware of myself, but I think when I started really growing my spiritual relationship with God, like very, very much, was back in 2017, a year later when I started KPRM. And I always told myself, you know what, the only thing that's going to push me here is faith. It's that saying, faith it until you make it, literally. Because literally, like, it's about faith and it's about prayer and solidifying quiet time. I also think growing up, of course, I was social. I'm still social. I'm still young. But I always had time for self. I always had time, like naturally so, naturally so, I wouldn't lie. I would always have moments of self-reflection. And now that I look back, because in hindsight, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just being Kopano. But now looking back, I'm like, geez, some of these character traits in me help me a lot. And also, sometimes I sit back by myself and I'm like, yo, Gops, you're actually stubborn, girl. Like, you just going for everything. Like, sometimes I sit down and I'm like, yo, something just comes over me. I don't know. Like, that's why I feel like it's also a purpose for me. Entrepreneurship is not just about money for me. It's about helping the youth in some sort of way. Like, at the end of the day, where I see KPRM, both of my companies, actually, I need them to be the biggest driver for youth employment in the next few years. Like, I want my agencies to be taking a lot of the youth. And that's something that I strongly wake up to every day. That's actually what even keeps me going, to be quite honest. From a local perspective, seeing what's happening in South Africa, the government is not doing enough. Corporates, disappointingly, they're too quiet, awfully quiet in terms of what are the measures in terms of helping the youth. And now it's left to us, small business owners and community leaders, or programs like Value Ed, where you're taking from your own money to actually create this program or course or some sort of movement to actually assist with some of the very pressing social issues, especially facing the youth at this time. So I think, so a lot of it was my character kept me going. So how I was built really was a very strong factor in terms of how I was moving. But I won't lie, at the end of the day, especially in marketing, a lot of people are doing it. You're going to find a lot of people on social media that's also doing their own thing, etc. And you're going to get imposter syndrome. It's evident, especially when you're young. I'm still young as well. I'm still building my character. I haven't even reached my fullest potential as yet. I'm getting there. But in that process, while I'm trying to fulfill, purpose and, building my potential, I'm still building. So there's going to be vulnerabilities, etc. So dealing with imposter syndrome, I always tell myself that we all came here with a purpose. So it always goes back to purpose. Everyone's purpose is different. It's unique. Just like, people always say to me, I think if I start a business, I will feel like I have a purpose and etc. And it's like, no, you can have a purpose even if you're employed.
Absolutely.
Do you understand? Because there's this whole notion around, if you're a business owner, you've made it, and etc. etc. I mean, it looks great, right? Outside looking in, but it's a whole lot of glamorizing. It's difficult.
Yes.
When people tell me, hey, I want to open up a business, you make it look so easy. I'm like, I won't lie. I feel like luck really played a huge role in my success as well. Not to say I don't work hard, but I haven't so far in my journey, I haven't experienced like really bad losses in terms of my businesses and the way it's building, etc. So I think it's also around just thinking about how do you uniquely bring purpose to your life, whether you have your own business or you're working for a small business that you're trying to, help them grow with their vision, etc., or a big shot corporate company. It doesn't matter. I think at the end of the day, it's about your purpose. Are you actually following it? Are you happy? That's also a big one. Are you happy? And if you're not, it's about those moments to realize being quiet and actually having reflective moments is extremely important. That's like, those are the moments that really truly build character.
Absolutely.
Because now you're sitting there like, reflecting. How was last week? Did I feel good last week? Okay, last week was bad. But what was bad about it?
Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't feel great on Tuesday because A, B, C, D, E, F, G happened. Oh, okay, now I see. So how do we resolve that? Like, we know we live in such a fast life. Everyone just wants to go, 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 go. And there's not much time to actually sit down and go, Even if you're doing well, like I remember the biggest lesson I actually learned last year was just giving kudos, like literally giving myself kudos. Because
celebrating
you exactly. So you have those big goals where you're like, nah, if I don't reach that big goal, I'm not seeing all the other small victories along the way. It's very it literally becomes so easy to do that. And I realized, I was like, no, Kopano, stop it. There's a lot you've achieved. And you're getting closer to what your big goal is.
Yeah. Well, I think it's about understanding your why, like you said, because purpose is very much about why you're doing what you're doing. So if you're saying, I want to be an entrepreneur, what is the big why, And if that's not very clear, if you have not crystallized that, then you get easily swayed by the day-to-day of, the hardship, the wins and whatever it is. So it's very important when going into business to understand what is my why, which ultimately then is part of, what the purpose is, what your purpose is. And I think, that is something that's very important if you're going to go into business, but also just in life in general. If you don't get that, then, the hardships will knock you off your boots. And then it's easy to give up because, you haven't crystallized that, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that you spoke about is empowerment and youth empowerment, and I know that you're also very big on women empowerment as well, and actually started a platform called Digi Women Tribes. Do you wanna tell us a little bit about that one?
Absolutely. That is a passion project that I recently started, actually. I'm very excited for it because I'm trying to utilize this, cause or community to come together, young millennial females, especially Black females, coming together and basically teaching each other skills to better themselves through technology in general, including digital marketing, but tech is broad, right? I want to see more women in the tech space, really, not just in digital marketing, but everywhere. AI, robotics, virtual reality, seeing that. So basically my vision with this is trying to bring the Black females more in the tech space and actually starting to learn like, okay, is this how tech works? Maybe I can start a career in tech because we need more of us as we're moving further and further into the future, and technology is getting more and more evident, like it's in our everyday process of life. And I'd like to see young Black women in South Africa utilizing these free courses that are online to start building those skills so that they can actually start standing out and getting opportunities, especially in tech, because it's huge right now. It's huge. And with us, it's growing. So there's so much potential for tech in general, not just digital marketing, tech in general. Absolutely. So my biggest vision with Digi Women is bringing the type of women like that and having existing women that are already in those spaces to come and advise the young ladies. How did they do it? What are the do's and don'ts? What can you just, basically impart the knowledge about, you know, your processes. What can the ladies coming after them do better or do more of? And creating those platforms where, you know, such a person can now speak to younger women and girls that are looking to be in tech. So that's like the big vision with it. So just seeing women win in tech, and women just standing up together, being supportive and helping each other grow. We're so powerful. And I honestly feel like it is definitely, you know, time for women now in any space, actually. I'm just passionate about tech, but any space really. Just seeing women doing more, investing more, being part of boards more. Like I'm even seeing, I won't even lie, like literally recently I saw on Twitter, so I follow this guy that's always giving us updates in terms of who's being a part of boards and companies. And I've been seeing so many females and I'm just like, yes, that is what I want to see. So I just want to see women take up space, no matter where you're at. Just take up space because we need you ladies, we need you. We really do.
Well, I think the inspiring thing about you is that, you know, you really are, you know, if there was a tagline, it would just start, just go for it, you know. I think, you know, whether it's Digi Women Tribe, you know, you said, I want to do this, and you just did it, you know. Whether it's the business, I want to do this, and you did it, right? And I think, you know, for everybody here who's listening, whatever it is, and you know, the digital community, you know, digital platforms are giving us, you know, the opportunity really to just start. You know, there's no reason or no excuse to not start, you know, whether you are, whatever it is that you want to do, there's so many ways to go about it. And I think following your journey, following your story really is testament that you can actually succeed. You know, if you do have a passion project, start that passion project. You know, if you have, you know, want to start a business, you know, whether you're working or whatever, because I'm still working full-time. I have a full-time day job, but I still run my business and I have other passion projects. You know, there's 24 hours in a day for me to do everything that I want. And with technology, I can do it from anywhere, which is the beauty of it, right? So I think for everybody listening is to say, just start, really, just go for it. Tseho, I don't know if you want to come in. I see there were some comments or questions on the chat box. This is a very engaging, you know, conversation. We want to hear from you guys. This is an opportunity to ask Kopano questions that you may have. She is booked and busy, so even I have to wait 2 days to get a reply because she's booked and busy. So this is your opportunity to get all the answers that you want from her. But yeah, Tseho, you can go ahead.
Thank you so much, Refile and Kopano. Your journey, or your hearing your story, is extremely, extremely inspiring. And I just wanted to thank you again, you know, for doing this with us and sharing your journey and story with our value audience and everyone else on the call. Another thing, I just wanted to also announce Tabi Masholugu. She has an organization called Muse, and who are currently a youth empowerment program who are coming up with solutions on gender-based violence. And I just wanted to give her a quick shout out. And, you know, thank you so much for joining us. Yes, so we have a couple of questions. Actually, there are questions from me. I was listening to your story, and one of the questions are, looking back, is there anything you would have done differently? And yes, you know, you're young and you've got your whole journey ahead of you. But looking back at where you are right now, would you have done anything differently?
Yes, I would have taken more risks. You know, business, of course, they always say that, you know, being in business, you have to always be calculated, plan, which is absolutely correct. You must. But I think I felt that in some moments I was holding back too much. And I think that just came with also character building. I was young, right? So looking back, I would definitely not hold back the way I did. So not even taking more risks, but maybe say not holding back. Doing more, as much as I was already doing, but I didn't do it like to the extent that I had in my head. about a few things. So I'll just look back to say, I should have done more of what I wanted to do at that moment. But yeah, that's basically what I would do. So I think my advice to young people, just start, like what Rafika was saying. You're not gonna have it together, trust me. But what is a life without really just doing what you really want to do, what you're happy about, what literally sparks you inside? Don't hold back. Be yourself, be authentic. Whatever you want to create, create it. This is the best time to create something, guys. I'm telling you this right now. This is the best time to create something. Technology has given us this opportunity to start competing with the big people. I mean, you could compete with somebody that's been doing this for 10 years. And if you come with your, complete or different outlook on that particular thing, it literally changes the whole trajectory around, business and starting it up, etc. This is the best time to start something, guys. Please, especially when you're young. I know not every person wants to do a business or open up a business, and that's totally okay. You're looking to work for somebody, that is fine. I don't have anything against people like that. But at the end of the day, even at your job, show up. Like, if it means you need to go to the boss and say, boss, listen, I feel like I deserve this promotion because I'm showing up in A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Like, just show up more in whatever space that you're in.
Did you hear that, guys? Show up. All right. And then the next question I also had was, I'm sure you had moments of, self-doubt, and how did you overcome those moments?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I had a lot of moments of self-doubt. And I think I'll always say this, my spirituality or the relationship that I built with the spirit is a big one. Like, that assisted me so much. So some of the stuff that I do that actually assists me with self-doubt, or just any negative emotions and feelings that you naturally feel as a human being, is through journaling, doing gratitude writing. So even if you had the worst week, there's something to be grateful for. Somebody else is going through a lot. You woke up in a bed, you had your favorite tea, but maybe just that week it wasn't the best. But somebody else didn't have their favorite tea or didn't even have a bed to basically sleep on. So some of those moments, because once you start doing gratitude writing, you start to get in a more higher mood, because you're just like, yo, I'm grateful. And actually for that, I'm going to keep doing what I want to do, because I'm grateful that I'm in this position to actually wake up the next day and say, okay, I'm going to start again. Some people don't have that opportunity to say, okay, let me just start again, or let's start again tomorrow. Let's make this better. So certain things like that, and also meditation, that has helped me a lot. I've recently started with yoga. I did a lot of physical activity as well, gym, things like that. So I think in a nutshell, this just goes back to doing things that make you happy. What makes you happy? And meditation is broad, guys. It's not just sitting in lotus, like, you know how you see the gurus. Literally, meditation is so broad. Meditation is walking in silence and just observing. Meditation is literally dancing. Meditation is literally just focusing on that present thing you're doing. So maybe practicing more of that also assisted me quite a lot. It brought me back to say, no, Kopano, you know why you're doing this. Look back. I mean, geez, you started at A, now you're on like G, dude. Like, you have to get to Z. You can. So those are some of the stuff that really helped me.
I can attest to that. They are the practices that I use as well. So I can attest to that as well.
Awesome. And then the last question I had was, we have a couple of upcoming digital marketers. Do you have any advice for them?
Absolutely. So I think the biggest advice that I'll give you as digital marketers today is always try to personalize your approach to marketing. Everyone is trying to be the same, especially in marketing. Observing the space, a lot of people just want to emulate or replicate these big digital personalities or companies, etc. So I think for me, if you basically deciding to become a digital marketer, of course, always sharpen your skill. So I'm going to give you the typical responses that you would get from any other person that's been in the space. Continuously sharpen your skills. It changes every single day. Digital is literally, it's like social media. Something's trending today, something's not trending anymore in the next week. So it's the same process with digital marketing as a whole. So continuously opening yourself to creative ways of thinking, continuously sharpening your skills, and continuously personalizing your experience with marketing. Just a lot of people think that if I don't do it like this digital marketer, it's not going to work. No. You just take the skills, right? You're learning that. Now you use your intuition. It's like using the skills and intuition in parallel with marketing. Because at the end of the day, marketing is dealing with people. It's psychology. It's social behavior. So for me personally, what has actually worked with me with clients as well, as much as yes, there is a part where you have to know skills and all of that, but the soft skills like active listening and feeling your intuition, what would work for this client? What campaign would work? Should we do this? Sometimes the answer you need is actually not even in the books that digital marketing, but it's just your intuition, like, no, do this. Yeah. So I think that's the biggest advice I'll give digital marketers. Yes, continuously sharpen your skills, be open to learning different developments or trends that's happening, but always personalize the experience.
Absolutely.
To whoever you're marketing for. Don't just do the general stuff. If you want to really stand out as a digital marketer, just personalize your process. That's what I'm learning so far.
Thank you so much. Does anyone else have any questions? If you do, Karabella has her hand up. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much, Oseko, for giving me the platform to speak. Well, I don't have a question per se, but I want to say a few words, to our Kopano. This gorgeous lady over here is actually my patron. She invested in my dreams, and I haven't told her this, but she invested in my dreams freewillingly, and I am becoming the woman that I'm becoming all because of her. With money, you can choose to do anything with it. You can choose to buy whatever that you want, but she chose to invest in a young person's future. And that says a lot about the kind of person that she is. She actually helps young people to soar to great heights. And for that, I am internally grateful. And, this is the kind of future that, great giants such as Mama Winnie Madikizela Mandela and other freedom fighters who fought for and struggled for, so that, today we have young people like her who are actually taking up space, who are leaders, who are contributing to the higher world, who are, just fearless. And for her to do whatever she's doing right now, it attests to the fact that women are powerful. So, Kopano, I am so grateful for everything that you are doing. And I just want to say, keep on keeping on and keep on shining. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my darling. I truly appreciate those kind words. You just made, I think your moment of showing your appreciation and gratitude made me realize that my impact is so intense and I actually don't even realize it myself. And the work that I'm actively trying to achieve is actually happening in real time. And I'm so, so appreciative of those words. And I'm going to continue, Garabelo, and continue becoming this fearless woman that you're trying to be, and continue just taking up space in your own right. I'm very proud of you. Continue working. Very, very proud of you. And I'm so happy for this platform. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so overjoyed. Thank you so, so much.
Yeah.
I truly appreciate it.
Thank you.
That was a beautiful moment. Over to you,
Yes,
Rupinder.
absolutely.
No, really, really beautiful moment indeed. And you know, I just want to bring it back to you, Kopano. You know, Garabelo mentioned, you know, you're a fearless woman, and rightfully so. You know, and I've been watching. I don't know who else here follows you on your social media platforms, and I've just been watching you and show, you know, the way you're just showing up, and it's so beautiful to watch because, you know, I'm like, this is one first of all, a very gorgeous lady, if I may say so. She's sexy, she is coming up in an all feminine self, and she's a boss as well, you know. And you know, I want to know, like, what is the, how do you make sure that you're continuously showing up in your authentic self? Because, as you know, I think as a young person, one, whether whatever platforms you're on, you're always you're trying to find your feet. So you're thinking, who do I like? Do I emulate somebody? And it's very easy to try and become like somebody else that you're not, right? But here I am watching Kopano being Kopano and being her hot self, if I may say so. You know, you are showing up in all your wholeness, whether you're showing yourself at gym, and then, you know, you're showing yourself going out with your girls, and then you're making a business deal, you know, and it's like, it's beautiful to watch, and it's very inspiring because I think a lot of people, myself included, you know, I've always been reserved about showing all of me in those spaces. You know, it's like, you know, you need to only show one part of yourself, because what if the other part is not accepted, you know, and that's not really showing up authentically. So how do you make sure that you're continuously showing up as your authentic self in whatever capacity and all the platforms that you're on?
That's such an amazing question. So I think more than anything, especially when it comes to the platforms, at first, just to go back to your point, Rafire, I always thought as well, I need to show one aspect of myself. So I used to run my social media like that. And then I realized, no. I'm going to use my social media differently. I'm going to actually break a lot of these myths around social media and personal branding and building that. And I thought, you know what is a personal brand if you're not showing every aspect of yourself? Because that brings about relatability. That's how people relate to you more, because you're basically showing different sides to yourself that somehow reaffirm somebody else that's looking at you on social media, that I can actually just show me. It's actually okay. Yes, social media is not the greatest place, right? It can be very bad and ugly and not so pleasant, but there are still pleasant people, you know, beautiful spaces, great content around social media that still exists as well. Although it's overpopulated with a lot of negative content. That's why I make it a point that I always show myself, because I already know social media is already building this very distant, unattainable depiction of what success is.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to break that. Success can look however you want it to look. Absolutely. I can claim and say, not even claim, I am successful. Because what is success at the end of the day?
Yes.
What, buying a car, getting a big house? Yeah, that's great. We all want money, right? But are you gonna be full? Are you gonna be whole when you get those things? So I think just showcasing the different parts of me, I'm trying to encourage others to do the same, because we don't have to look like him, Kardashian. We don't have to create this, I don't even know what word to use, but this, I don't even want to say fake, but this very well-organized life. Yes. I'm not saying show yourself crying now. Yeah, I'm not saying show yourself crying and you're just like, oh my gosh, you don't overshare, but find a balance of showcasing I'm a human being, you know? The other day, funny enough, I think I should just share this because it just goes back to the point. The other day, I had a conversation with a friend of mine from high school, and she was like to me, dude, you know, it's so crazy when I see you on social media. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like you're running this business, you're a boss. And then when I open your story, you're just being stupid with your friends, or you're just going out, or you just like, you're a person. And I'm like, exactly, because I am. I don't want us to ever build this very distant facade-y type of persona around success must be A, and if you're not that, then it doesn't look like you're successful because your Instagram is showcasing too much of yourself, etc. And also, I do understand people don't like to share on social media. That's totally okay. But for the ones that are afraid to share, I want to encourage them that, you know what, it's okay to share.
Absolutely.
It's okay to share the different parts of you. So it's kind of just reaffirming the human experience. I'm also just a human being.
Yes.
With all these things that I'm trying to achieve, with all these things that I'm doing, I am still a human being.
I love that.
So I think when, just going back to your point, because I don't want to go off a tangent, because I talk a lot, I tend to do that quite a lot. That experience also reaffirms to me that I'm showing up as an authentic self, no matter what. That for me, it allows me the space to be who I am. People be like,
Absolutely.
just yesterday you posted a picture of yourself going out, now you're signing a deal. I'm like, yes, because you can do both.
You can do both. You're not just
balance
one
both.
way, you know?
Yes.
I love
balance
that.
both.
I love that. Yeah.
I can
that is
meditate, I can do yoga, and then the next day I can go out and have fun with my friends.
Exactly.
It's totally okay.
Exactly. No, I love that. I absolutely love that. I just want to check, are there still any other questions? Anybody want to share? Any questions from the floor? This is your opportunity, hey?
Do you have any questions, guys? No?
It's very quiet here at Valour today, hey? What's happening?
If you're nervous about
Let me
speaking
go
on
ahead.
camera, oh awesome, there's Lerato.
Let me just ask
If
something.
you're nervous about speaking on camera, oh awesome, there's Lerato.
Yes, I'll just ask something, Rifilwe. You know, with young people, when you have to approach someone that's already successful or already in the field and has a lot of knowledge, they don't know the steps on how to go to that person, ask for the help that I'm someone who's trying to start up this digital marketing business. So what are the steps? How do you go and approach that person? Which is something that can build you on how to be successful as well. How can you take on that?
Okay, great. So I love that question. Thank you so much for asking it. So the biggest thing that I did, because it just goes back to my journey, when I started, I was also quite afraid of just pitching, like showcasing my company, speaking to potential clients, etc. But then I thought to myself, who really made it the first time? Who? Nobody got it right the first try. So I think that's what got me to that space when I just thought, you know what, just send the message. So I use LinkedIn quite a lot, and that was quite a prominent platform when I started out. So I would just invite, if I see someone as a CEO, I just invite them and introduce myself. And the reality is, everyone is not going to be like, oh, and receive you. Hi, this is great. Some are just going to read your messages. That's fine. You're going to get a lot of no's, but there's going to be some 2-3 yeses.
Absolutely.
So I think it's all about mindset. So when, and I understand as a young person, because you're thinking, okay, where do I start? This guy or girl is such a giant, etc. How do I do? Just send the DM, especially on LinkedIn.
It's the how. At the end of the day, it's the how you do it. And I think also the power of collaboration, right? I think that's one thing that we do so well together is just finding your tribe, first of all. So the people that you want to go on this journey with, because like what Kopano is starting with Digital Women Tribe, is that you build a community of women who are going to lean on each other and learn from each other. And at the end of the day, you know, there's a saying, it's not about who you know, it's about but who knows you and who do they know, right? So there's been a lot of rooms that I've been in and say, oh, I need a digital marketing agency, and I immediately think Kopano, right? So then I can always say, hey, are you available to do this? So I think as a young person starting off, whether it is even at work in corporate, you know, self-promoting yourself, you know, just go to those people. And I think there's, you know, with digitalization, the power is in collaborations, right? So, you know, just working on a small project together, because that's how you build your network as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think
So
just to add on to what you said for 2 seconds there. Also just showing up, guys. You know, a lot of people say to me, yo, I don't know how to. Sometimes also when you're trying to approach these grades, and this is the reality, these grades are going to look at who you are. It's the reality. Okay, young person, what are they doing? Let me skim through their profile. But if you're not showing up, if you're not showing yourself, like, this is me, how are you going to convince them to respond back? So you need to consistently show up your skills, show up your little projects you're working on, whatever it is, especially in digital marketing. When you're building your portfolio, consistently keep showing up. Just show up, especially on LinkedIn. If you guys are not on LinkedIn, please be on LinkedIn. And if you are, vigorously promote yourself there. That's how I started. You know, my first big paying client, I got on LinkedIn. Literally. So that platform is powerful. It really is. I'm always promoting LinkedIn. I love that platform. Yes, it has its downfalls, but if you use it strategically to your advantage, it can work for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Amazing. We have a question from Apendulwa, one of our Value Add ambassadors. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Tsecho. Good day, everyone. Kopano, I'm super inspired by your work. You know, by the mere fact that I'm talking to, I feel like I've made it in life. So I have a question. We grew up knowing that corporate is like a space for men. So you as a young Black woman, how do you deal with issues, or how have you dealt with issues of inequality, discrimination, and patriarchy?
Thank you so much for that question. Very great question. So I have not really had much experience in the corporate space, but just having friends that are in corporate, they do complain quite a lot about that. But I think in my experience with clients, if I'm going to pitch and it's a room full of men, I reaffirm myself even more. I have to. I have to. That's the only way to show up. It is hard. Not gonna lie, at the end of the day, it is hard, it's challenging because they're gonna consistently challenge you, or they're gonna ask you a lot of questions, especially when they're gonna try and, you know, fry you, try to see, are you really knowledgeable in your space? And you just keep answering them gracefully, and you ask them more questions so that they can actually start thinking. So I think in my space, more than anything, how I responded to patriarchy and inequality, even racism, is being direct. And if I feel uncomfortable in that moment, I'm going to say, dear sir or ma'am, no disrespect, A, B, and C, it's not sitting well with me. So how are we gonna basically resolve this situation? And just showing up in a very diligent and elegant way, but still being quite assertive as well. So I think more than anything, knowing what you're going, or let me rather say, when you enter that room, you know why you're in that room. God put you in that room. Yes. With those men and all of that, it doesn't matter. Him putting you in that room with those men is because you have the same energy. You have the same energy. You're vibrating where, you know what, nah, you're in your masculine energy. You're ready to get what you want. You're being very ambitious. So yes, of course, especially in SA, we live in a space where even culture plays a big role in how men are treating women in general. And I think that's why there's a whole spike of gender-based violence as well. So it's quite a lot of things that women have to they've always dealt with, actually, not just at the office, sometimes even at home. But I think what we need to do as women now is just to do a lot of unlearning in terms of, it's fine, I can speak. I'm using my voice, and that's totally okay. I'm not loud. Just because I'm voicing something doesn't mean I'm loud. No, I'm just gracefully saying this and being affirming in that space. So just always knowing as women that we don't complain. Just because I'm saying how I feel, that I'm not complaining. It's just me stating how I feel, and that's fine. So just reaffirming in that as well. helps a lot. And I think women just, this whole being apologetic needs to just
know who you are. If you know who you are, then nobody else can shift you or move you or do anything. You know, if you just know this is who I am and I'm going to show up and I believe in myself, and I'm going to show up as my authentic self. So whether you get a yes or no, it's not going to take anything away from you. You just continue to show up in all yourself. And if it's meant to be, you'll get that yes, you know, and if it's not, so be okay with that, you know. So I think that is the most, whether
maybe it wasn't even meant for you altogether.
Exactly.
You're not meant to be in that space.
Exactly. But I want to know, so I see a vision board behind you and I'm being a little snoopy. What is in the cards for Kopano for 2022? You know, I'm very excited about this year. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm feeling this year. I can tell it's going to be a big financial year, I think, for a lot of people. So what's in the cards for Kopano, whether it's through your passion project, also business-wise? You mentioned you guys are turning 5 years, you know. So what's in the cards?
So from a KPR perspective, I think it's just expanding on this new service offering, and us, of course, expanding into media as well, just seeing that grow. And hopefully hitting a few millions towards the end of the year.
Yes,
would be great for us. And Sorted, just seeing Sorted grow more. So like Sorted is my second baby, so it's only been 2 years. So seeing her, so right now she's been crawling. I want her to start walking now. I want her to start walking legit. So trying to grow those businesses and trying to do more speaking gigs. I want to go speak at schools because I just feel like being in the space that I'm in, I need to inspire more and more young people to realize that, you know, in this situation in SA, it's bad, but you are still in control of your life. It may not seem that way. I totally get it. It's very, very, very understood. But in the same breath, you can actually get up and just start.
Absolutely.
Right? So doing more speaking gigs to just really spread more of a healing message and motivational and inspirational messages to young people, and doing a lot more coaching in the digital marketing space, because I've gotten a lot of inquiries, especially with young people saying, you know, I'm confused about this. And I always try to avail myself, even though I'm busy. I try to either say, can I maybe set up a call with you 30 minutes towards the end of the day? Right now I'm busy, etc. I always try, whatever time that I have, I'm going to try and give it back to whoever needs it. And just really exploring more parts of who Kopano is, more fun experiences, of course. In a nutshell, that's literally what I'm just trying to do. And more money, big bucks. I want more money. So when you said
living our best lives and
financial, I get it. It's a defining year for me.
No, definitely exciting stuff. I see Twenga had her hand up. I don't know if you had a question.
And please get some vision boards done, guys. Young people, get into vision boards, please. Sorry.
Thank you so much, Kopano. You're so gorgeous and so inspiring. And
thank you so much.
I really feel like if you can do it, so can we all. So the question I want to sort of ask is, what has been like your greatest fear and stumbling block in your career journey? And what would you advise young female emerging entrepreneurs to upskill themselves in? Like, what tool do you think would be the greatest help for us to upskill ourselves in putting our business out there?
I think the biggest fear that I stumbled upon is just basically seeing my business fail altogether, like to a point where I'm like, okay, I need to shut down now, or I need to relook how everything is being run, etc. But the biggest thing I think that basically pushed me to not get this biggest fear to actually happen is always being open to see how can you do business differently. So talent is one thing, guys. talent is great. You can have talent, but if you don't have the smarts or strategy or mindset, it's null and void, because you don't know how to use it to your best of ability to actually get a good return from that talent of yours. It's like seeing a great musician. This person can sing. You know what? Every time they sing, you're just like, why aren't you singing in arenas, etc.? And then when you go and have a sit down with this musician, you realize that it's just talent. He doesn't know how to build something like a personal brand. He doesn't know how to. So there's always these little mechanisms that you have to always keep perfecting and expanding yourself around to actually get to your dream. So it's about really thinking about, okay, every day, how can I make the business better? And listen, guys, also listen, like take advice. You know, something that I'm seeing in young people, just being a young person myself, sometimes there's a tad of arrogance, which is normal, because when you're young, you think you know everything, right? Nah, the world is my oyster, dude. Like, I'm fine. I got this. Listen to people that have done it before you. Even if maybe their business have failed, etc. No, they still have wisdom to share. So actively listening to people that came before you, and of course, taking it with a grain of salt at the end of the day. I know, because sometimes people can advise you wrongly, but take what you feel, listen to your body when you get that advice. Does it resonate? Does it make sense? Etc. So taking a lot of advice as well is very helpful. I think what really helped me as well to never see this biggest fear happening is really just humbling myself also. Humble yourself in the business experience, please, guys. Because once you humble yourself in the business experience, you're actually giving God the space to work on you. And while he's working on you, he's working on your business as well.
Absolutely.
You'll just see it happening. You'll just see it happening.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. I think, you know, I speak to everybody here, you know, it really has been an inspiring morning, and to hear your stories. I think, you know, you mentioned that you're looking to do more speaking engagements. And I think it's very, very important to share our stories. We have a lot of great leaders in South Africa. We have a lot of young people doing incredible work, inspiring work, but we're not just we're not profiling it enough. And I think that's what we need. We need a lot more people to share their stories so that we can continue to be inspired. And I, for one, am very happy to be, you know, part of this Celebrating Women event with Valour, because this is what the purpose is, you know, to profile, to share stories, to inspire others through the stories of those that we look up to. And I think for me, the takeaway for today's session is just show up, show yourself, put yourself out there, and just start. I think this is the best time to be starting. We are living in the digital era. We have more opportunities than our parents could have ever imagined, so as young people, take those opportunities and just start. I mean, so many great platforms. In my personal branding and social media program, I always give the example with Elsa Majimbo, and I mean, her success is just incredible. And just using social media, and in a span of 1 year, her the other gentleman from TikTok, who's now worth $2 million.
And he just scored a Hugo Boss deal.
Listen to that.
Incredible.
And all he does, you look at what he does and you're like, really? I could have done that, So I think the important thing here is just start, show up as your authentic self, do what you love. And we are young, we are creative, be yourself, and it'll work out. If you look at these people, they were having fun and doing what they love, so let's do that. Use Kopano's story to inspire you. Follow her on her social media platforms, collaborate with her. Join DigiWomen Tribe, please.
Please, guys, we need more ladies. Please do.
Join. There's a lot more people that you can meet through that. But yeah, man, I'm very, very.
There's a lot more people that you can meet through that. But yeah, man.
Lorata, thank you. So yeah, but do that, please. And I think from my side, at least today, I would like to thank Kopano for joining us today. I know Tseho has said, she has want to just share the platform with another lady. So from my end, thank you very much for joining and getting up on a Saturday. I think the fact that you woke up and are here, that's a start. That already is showing up, getting up, saying, I'm going to listen to Kopano tell her story, that is showing up. I just launched my leadership podcast it's on Spotify. It'll be on Apple Tunes this week. And the purpose of that is also, profiling leaders that we have and hear them share their stories, because whether you're in corporate, whether you're starting your own business, you want to hear how others did it, what's their journey. So please listen. Season 1 is launching today. Well, the first episode will be on Tuesday, and for season 2, I'm getting young leaders like Kopano to share their stories. So you'll have another hour to hear more about Kopano's story that season. Do check it out. It's called The Leadership Script with Refilwe. If you go on my social media, you'll be able to get the link there as well. And of course, follow Kopano as well, because she is doing amazing things. I mean, one, she's inspiring me to join gym and look like her because COVID did the things and I've gained weight. 2, she's making deals. So I'm like, I need to get up because Kopano is up and making deals. So I need to get up as well. And she's just having fun with it as well. Just being her true, authentic self, living her best life. So go follow her and be inspired by what she's doing. And yeah, that's it from my end. Thank you so much, Kopano, for gracing us.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
I truly
Thank you
And
so
over
much.
to you,
This is
Tseho.
why I do what I do. This is why I
Yes.
do what I do, honestly.
Awesome. Thank you so much to both ladies, Rutule and Kopano. I wanted to give Tabile a moment or the platform to share a little bit of more of what she does, because it's really, really important for us to stand together against what's happening and our gender-based violence issue. So the floor is yours. Thank you so much, Tabile. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this platform. As they said, my name is Tabile. But before I start, I have to say, Kopano, thank you so much for that talk. That was absolutely so inspiring. I think it takes so much bravery to start your own thing and put yourself out there like that. So just hearing about your journey, hearing about how it's working out for you, hearing about how you're picking yourself up and keeping going, it's absolutely amazing and so inspiring. But in terms of me, so I'm the founder of a nonprofit company called Muse Africa. And I founded it back in 2020 around the time of Uyinene, because I was a UCT student and it was something that was very close to home for me. So I felt like I needed to do something to play my part in contributing towards the resolution of gender-based violence in the country. So I started Muse Africa, got a few of my friends together, and so now it's a youth-led organization that does a variety of different initiatives, such as a webinar series, which we had last year, which discussed different things about gender-based violence. We had panel discussions with just men on it to get men involved in the conversation, things like that, discussing things like, do women ever contribute towards gender-based violence? And what's the big fuss around gender-based violence and all of that? But on top of that, we were doing things like outreach projects, different drives, toiletry drives, pad drives, things like that. And our latest project is a youth empowerment program for young people. Just because during these different initiatives, I got to work with different young people from different backgrounds from my own. And I realized that a lot of young people actually feel like they don't have the power to act. So I think my generation is very good at talking. I think we're very good at starting conversations and, addressing things verbally. But I don't think a lot of people feel like they can go any further than that. I feel like a lot of young people feel like they have to leave it to the older generations to, use their resources, use their networks and all of that to, actually help and actually do things. And I really just wanted to create this program just to show young people that, yes, you are young, you might not have finished that degree yet, you might still be working towards, gaining knowledge in different fields or whatever it may be. But it doesn't mean you just have to sit, just look around you, see what you have access to, see who is able to help you, just reach out to people, reach out to companies, reach out to whatever you may need to turn your vision into life. Create a vision for yourself, see how you can help society, and see how you can turn your vision into life. So that's what this program is about. And it's going to be centered around gender-based violence this year specifically, just because the organization was built around gender-based violence, and I think it's still such a relevant topic, such a huge issue in our country. And yeah, so this year it's going to be very informative. There are going to be sessions where they are being taught by teachers, by people who've studied gender-based violence, all of that, just so that everyone's on the same page about what gender-based violence is, what it's not, and just to gain more information in terms of what gender-based violence in our context is. And then they're going to be doing research about, so we're focusing on 3 sectors in this year's program, being policymaking, technology, and film and media. And they are going to see how they can use those 3 sectors to address gender-based violence. So they are going to go and choose a sector, and then they are going to do research to see how their chosen sector has contributed towards the resolution of gender-based violence. So that's going to be through things like actual research on the internet, but also through things like talks. For example, there's a new app called Iris. I don't know if anyone has heard about it, but it's a safety and security app that that's going to be launched on the 13th of February, I think. And it was an app that 2 people created to address gender-based violence. So we're going to be having talks from people like that as a part of the whole research process to see what measures are already in place to help gender-based violence. And then they're going to critically analyze those measures to see what worked, what didn't, what they could have done better, what they can learn from what people have already done, and all of that. And then they're going to go on to actually come up with their own solutions as a group. And they're going to see, okay, so this is what's already in place. What can we do? What can we add to the resolution of gender-based violence in the country right now? And then they're going to actually implement it through the help of mentors, through the help of people who are already in the industry, and all of that. And they are hopefully going to create a piece of work that they can actually put out into the real world and have their work actually impact the situation of gender-based violence in the country. So that is the program in a nutshell. And I would love to, have whoever's interested on board, whether it's behind the scenes, whether it's spreading the word, whatever it may be. I do have social media accounts for Ms. Africa. I have contact details, all of that, if anyone is interested. But yeah, that is our program in a nutshell. Thank you so much.
Awesome, guys. Follow those.
Can I quickly just come in there?
Sure.
What a beautiful thing you're doing, Tabile. Congratulations. Like you're doing the Lord's work, honestly. Already, with gender-based violence, it's such a pandemic on its own in this country, in addition to the actual coronavirus. And I think my piece to assist you, I wanted to find out if maybe we could take full control of your socials and do it for free. Help you promote the stuff for free. This is something that everyone should be talking about. So I think let me just have a meeting with you sometime next week and see how my agency can, maybe one of the interns can come and assist you with your social media and maybe even create a strategy, because this is something that really needs to be spoken about more. And I think also, remember what I mentioned earlier to you guys that want to be digital marketers, use your tool to also spread pressing issues as well. The whole personalize your experience, what also matters to you as a digital marketer, and how can you use these tools that you have to promote those messages that you're passionate about. So please, Tabile, be in contact with me. I think you can get my contact details from either Refile or Tseho. I'm more than happy to set up something with you, because you're doing something really great and I'd love to be a part of it.
Thank you so much. I would appreciate that so much. Thank you. I definitely will reach out.
The incredible power of collaboration. I want to thank you for joining us today. A big shout out to our Value Add ambassadors. Gwenga's here, Apendula's here. Thank you so much for joining us. And guys, if you want to become of assistance to Value Add, to support our initiative, you can become a patron. And by doing that, you can visit our website and sign up to become a patron and just give us the chance to sponsor a student for 350 Rand every month in order for us to grow and reach other people who need this kind of platform. I want to thank everyone for joining us on this afternoon now. Oh, and sorry, Caramella's also here, our ambassador. I apologize. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Tabile. Thank you, Kopano and Refilwe. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone. Truly appreciate
our next
the time
one.
with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a
Bye, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. God bless.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you for watching this Value Ed on the go recorded live session. If you enjoyed this session and would like to learn more, please head through to valueed.co.za/members. By becoming a member, you will be able to join our live and interactive sessions. This will allow you to ask the host questions, but also meet our other Value Ed family members who are part of this course. You will get access to all of our on-the-go recorded live sessions, as well as our other Value Ed sessions, including the Mogul Masterclass, Leadership Masterclass, and Career Discussion Academy. So, we hope that you decide to join the Value Ed family by heading through to valueed.co.za/members. Until then, we hope that you stay inspired to make better choices for tomorrow.